everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Kay and today I will be doing a 2022 season review of the Cronulla Sutherland Sharks. When I'm discussing the top 8 teams for this year, I will be including the finals results. So I'll be counting the official points for and against that they scored in the regular season, and I'll be counting the finals for and against points as well. And also count the finals wins and losses for all of the top 8 teams. The Cronulla Sutherland Sharks finished in second place this year, playing a total of 26 games, including the finals, scoring 38 points with 18 wins, with 6 losses in the regular season, along with the two losses in the semi-finals this year. The Sharks scored a total of 573 points in the regular season. Adding on the 42 points they scored across the 2 finals games, they scored a total of 615 points. While the Sharks conceded 364 points in the regular season, conceding 70 points in the 2 finals games they played in, scoring a total of 434 points conceded for this year, with a points differential of a positive 209, but if you're counting the final series, it's a positive 181 from the results of the 2 finals games. The Sharks' home record was great this year, finishing with a 10 wins and 2 losses in the regular season. If you're counting the the 2 final series games, it's 10 wins and 4 losses, while with the away games, it's 8 wins and 4 losses, and the Sharks' last 5 games on a 5-game winning streak. The Sharks started off with a loss in round 1 after they lost to the Raiders down in Canberra, 24 points to 19. In round 2, they managed to beat the Eels, 18 points to 16, back at PointsBet Stadium for the first time since 2019. And then following a thrashing win over their rivals, the Dragons, 36 points to 12. The Sharks' winning ways continue into round 4 as they managed to beat the Newcastle Knights 18 points to 0, following a thrashing 30 points to 4 against the Tigers at their home ground at PointsBet Stadium. And then the following week in round 6, their winning ways ended after Melbourne beat them at Amy Park 34 points to 18. Following their loss against the Storm, Sharks rebounded to beat Manly 34 points to 22 in round 7, following a loss against the Broncos 16 points to 7 in round 8. In round 9, the Sharks managed to beat the Warriors 29 points to 10 with 11 players on the field at 1 point. Then going into Magic Round, they lost to the Raiders again. This time it was 30 points to 10 against the Raiders. After the loss to the Raiders in round 10, they managed to beat the Gold Coast Titans in round 11, 25 points to 18 with a field goal. And then the following week, they were smashed by the Roosters, 36 points to 16 at their home ground. This was also Sharks' only loss at PointsBet Stadium in the regular season, and they lost to the Cowboys as well in the first week of the finals at Shark Park. After having the bye in round 13, the Sharks would start a 5-game winning streak between rounds 14 and 18, starting off against the Warriors in round 14, 38 points to 16 at Redcliffe, following week at CEX Coffs Harbour International Stadium, beating the Titans 18 points to 10. Following week at CommBank Stadium in round 16, beating the Bulldogs 18-16, and then beating the Storm this time at PointsBet Stadium, 28 points to 6. That was a great victory for them. And then ending in round 18, 5-game winning streak, they managed to beat the Cowboys up there in Townsville, 26 points to 12. Now, unfortunately, the Sharks' winning ways came to an end against the Panthers after they lost 20 points to 10 at Bluebet Stadium. They were leading 10-0 at 1 point, and then the Panthers managed to come back to beat them 20 points to 10. And then from rounds 20 to 25, the Sharks ended the regular season on a 6-game winning streak, beating the Rabbitohs in a game of the year caliber, 21 points to 20 with a field goal from Nico Hines at PointsBet Stadium. And then the following week at the same venue, beat the Dragons in a close game, 24 points to 18. And they managed to beat the Tigers in round 22 up there in Tamworth, 36 points to 12, flogging Manly as well in round 23, 40 points to 6. And in their final home game for the regular season, beating the Bulldogs in a convincing way, 16 points to 0. and then rounding off their final game for the regular season, round 25, beating Newcastle Knights in Newcastle 38 points to 16. On to the Sharks final series. They played against the Cowboys in the first week of the qualifying finals, losing to the Cowboys 32 points to 30 in a 93-minute classic after a 2-point field goal from Valentine Holmes from 40 plus metres out. The Sharks finished in the top 4, so they had a second chance. They played against the Rabbitohs in the semi-final the following week at Allianz Stadium. The Rabbitohs had been at Allianz Stadium twice by that point after playing the Roosters in the first 2 weeks. So the Rabbitohs managed to beat the Sharks 38 points to 12, saying goodbye to the Sharks for the 2022 season as they bowed out in the first 2 weeks of the finals. The highest point scorer for the Cronulla Sharks in 2022 was Nicholas Hines, or Nico Hines, who won the Dally M medal for this year in scoring a total of 194 points. The Sharks' top try scorer was Ronaldo Mulitalo, who scored a total of 17 tries. Not far behind is Sana Katoa, who scored a total of 14 tries, who only played 16 games this year. Now, going through their signings and players who have been let go to other clubs, as of the 7th of October, the Sharks have only gained 1 player and have lost 3 players. The only signing that the Sharks have got at the moment is Organ Kafusi from the Parramatta Eels. And the 3 players that they lost, Andrew Fafita was released. We don't know if he will retire or go to another club. If he was to go to another club, I think he will go to the Tigers most likely. That's just my opinion. Aidan Tolman retired at the end of the Sharks loss against the Rabbitohs. And Logan Metcalf has gone to the New Zealand Warriors. Going through the Sharks' best wins and losses, one of the best wins for the Sharks this year was against the Dragons in round 3, where they won 36 points to 12. Another one against the Tigers in round 5, 30 points to 4. And another great win was against the Warriors in round 9, where they won 29-10, and they had 11 players on the field at one point. If I had to pick one game for their best, I reckon their best game this year was probably against the Rabbitohs, and I'm being unbiased here. I reckon it was a great game, 21 points to 20. Another great game I would say was against Storm in round 17, where they beat them 28 points to 6. And then another good win was against Manly in round 23, 40 points to 6. Now, going through their losses, I think one of the biggest losses was against the Roosters in round 12, where they lost 36 points to 16. I reckon their worst defeat for the entire year was in the second week of the finals, where they lost to the Rabbitohs 38 points to 12. Now, I was at this game, and what I saw, the Sharks didn't play. Sharks played all right for the first 20 to 30 minutes before Rabbitohs scored the second try about 10 minutes to go until half time, where the Rabbitohs would lead 18-0. And then in the second half, there were some sparks of the Sharks that they could come back, but after they scored 12 points, they didn't come back after that. So I reckon, and that was their most disappointing game this year, in my personal opinion. Even if it's against my team, Rabbitohs were just the better team. How do I think the Sharks went this year? Well, I definitely think the Sharks had a way better year than 2021. Finishing in second place to secure a homes final is great, but I reckon towards the back end of the season they had an easy draw. The last 8 games at least had mostly the bottom 8 teams, so they had an easy draw home. The only competition they had was against the Panthers, the Cowboys, and the Rabbitohs during the regular season towards the back end of the season. But I think their season overall was great. If I had to grade the Sharks for this year, I'll give them an 8.8 out of 10. Why do I say 8.8? Towards the back end of the season, they had a relatively easy draw. They only played the top 8 teams only 3 times towards the back end of the season. That was the Panthers, Rabbitohs, and the Cowboys. They managed to beat two of the teams, only lost to the Panthers by 10. But overall, I think the Sharks had an excellent year this year, improving from last year as they finished outside the top 8 in 9th or 9th place last year, due to Gold Coast flogging the Warriors 44-0 in the last round last year. But their spine improved with the addition of Nico Hines coming from Melbourne last year. Their forward pack was great this year. And if I had to pick a best player for this year, well, that's to be a bit tough. There's a couple like William Kennedy, Nico Hines, Matt Moylan especially. Right, he played an excellent year this year. In their forward pack, just excellent. But overall, the Sharks had an excellent season, and they'll definitely be in the top 8 next year. Top 4, we'll just have to wait and see. It's too early to call for a prediction, but top 4, I'll probably say yes, they will finish the top 4 again next year. And that, everyone, will conclude my 2022 season review of the Cronulla Sutherland Sharks. Overall, towards the back end of the season, they had an easy draw, but they played very well this year, even though they bowed out in the first 2 weeks of the finals. But they'll definitely have a better year next year, hopefully. Top 8 for sure. Top 4, I'll definitely see them making it, but they could finish outside the top 4, but I don't think they will, but we'll just have to wait and see. The next team I will be reviewing is the West Tigers, and that will be coming out in the next couple of days. Until then, I'll see everyone in the next video. Take care.